Yesterday, I asked God to give me a word, and I was surprised where He went. He took me to the story of the Wizard of Oz. So, the Wizard of Oz started with Dorothy being caught up in a storm that took her from her home and dropped her into a place called Munchkinland. And God says, sometimes I have to cause a storm in your life in order to get you to the place where I need to be. But the people in Munchkinland were all small in stature. And Dorothy was starting to feel a little comfortable. Yes, she wanted to get back home, but she felt a sense of comfort. And God says, you're thinking too small. You think you are small in spirit, you're small in faith, and you have to get away from this place. But I'm showing you where you are right now. He had to show Dorothy where she was in the spirit. But the witch gave Dorothy a word. The word says, in order to get to the place where I have assigned you, or where you are looking to be, or where you're destined to be, where you want to be, then you have to follow the yellow brick road. And Dorothy had to walk out on faith, not knowing if this plan was going to work. Dorothy walked out with her in total. The first person she encountered was the scarecrow. The scarecrow says, I don't have a brain, but God says, that's because I have to renew your mind. Because the thoughts that you've been thinking, even though you walked out on faith, but your thoughts are still not right. Your thoughts are still not in the place where it needs to be in order to obtain the thing that I have for you. The next person that Dorothy met was a tin man, and the tin man says, I don't have a heart. God says, I have to create in you a clean heart and renew a right spirit in you, because your heart is not right. The posture of heart is totally not right, because the place that I have for you, the ministry that I have for you, the promises I have for you, your heart is going to have to be clean. And the third person she met was the lion. The lion is a symbol of strength and of bravery, but this lion was a coward. God says, a lot of times as Christians, we know how to pray, we know how to quote scriptures, we look the part of the lion, like the lion looked the part of the lion, but there was something missing inside, which was the faith. God says, I did not give you the spirit of fear, but of love and power of sound mind. We haven't moved out on faith because of fear. So as they were moving on their journey down the yellow brick road, they came into the enemy's territory, and the enemy took them to her castle, which was the wicked witch, and the flying monkeys took them. The devil's job is to take us off the path that God has placed before us, and also to interrupt our life, to just be an obstacle, to be a distraction. But when Dorothy was able to defeat the witch, when we're able to defeat the enemy, they were placed back on their path. And once they reached the Wizard of Oz, the Wizard of Oz says, everything that you've been looking for, when you decided that you were going to walk out on faith, that you were going to walk down this path and go through everything that I place you through, you already have what you want. God says you need to just first walk out on faith. That thing that you said, I don't have enough money for, God says, just walk out and I'm going to provide it. Dorothy didn't know if she was going to walk this thing by herself or somebody was going to walk with her. God says, I provided these people to walk with you on this journey. So don't be afraid. Your mind is renewed. Your heart is clean now. Now you have the faith. You have the things that I have said that you can have. Walk out on it. Don't hesitate. And God, I said, God, why are you using a story with these witches and all of this other stuff? And God says, what the enemy means for evil, I will turn it for your good. God says, I will get the glory in everything. I don't care if the devil has started. He says, I alone will get the glory for it. So I can use whatever story I want to use, as long as you understand that this word is for you. This word is for you. Whomever is listening, I hope that you listen to the end. I know this is long, but you need to listen, because God says, step out on faith. No longer lean on to your own understanding. He has already set the pathway for you to walk. All he says, you just have to have faith and walk. Believe who he is. And it does look scary, but he says he has not given you the spirit of fear. So just walk out in it. Walk in faith. And that is your word for today.